Okay, so hi everyone and welcome to the Science Showcase event. So this is currently the Science and Business Student Association room. First year students will have a chance to go to 3 different rotations that will each be 15 minutes long. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Sophia to introduce herself and tell us a little bit more about the Science and Business Student Association.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Sophia Gabriel. I am a second year student in the Science and Business program at Waterloo, and I am going to be the SIBSA rep for your Science Showcase. So, the Science and Business Association, who are we and what do we do? We are a collaborative space for all students in science and business, biotech and econ, as well as biotech and CPA. And our primary goal is to enhance the academic and social experience for all students at the University of Waterloo, primarily those in the Faculty of Science and in those 3 programs. And we do this by hosting academic and social events throughout the school year to maintain a really tight-knit community, both on campus and more recently, virtually. Now, if you want to get involved, we have lots of opportunity. And specifically as first years, we will be recruiting first year representatives in the near future. So you can always feel free to follow us on our social media. And if you check out the chat section, I've added a link that has more information about SIBSA. You can find our Instagram, our Facebook, as well as our email, and you have our name there as well. So feel free to do some research, reach out to us, and we would love to get to know you. And we would love to have you get involved too. All right, so on that note, we'll be taking questions. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to drop them into the chat section or into the Q&A section, and then I'll be answering those. Oh, we have a first question. All right, so how can you get involved with SIBSA? As first years, you have the opportunity to get involved as first year representatives. And as you move through your journey at UW, you can apply for an executive position, such as the one that I have, and I will explain that in a few moments. So, as a first year representative, some of your responsibilities include representing your cohort. So, your first year fellow students, you will be bringing their visions, all of their ideas to our executive meetings, talking about them with your president, vice president, and other executives, and working through how can you use your skills to make an impact on the SciBiz community with your Sci Besties. Additionally, you will be responsible for the communication with professors. Now, within the SciBiz community, we have SciBiz workshops. And within those workshops, you will have the opportunity to give information about SIBSA related events to your peers. And to do this, you can, for example, post about it on Learn. You can ask your professor to send an email about it to your friends or your peers. So that would be your primary responsibility, as well as assisting our executive members, for example, with technology related projects or social media related projects. And it's an amazing place for you to enhance your leadership skills, to really develop those interpersonal skills like communication. And overall, it's a great team to be a part of. Now, applying for a first year rep is something you can do in your 1A term or your fall 2020 term at UW. As you progress, for example, into your 1B term, which will be your next term, then you can consider applying for an executive position. So, executive positions, for example, you have your president, your vice president, and me, I am the vice president of finance for the fall 2020 term. So, I'll speak to that a little bit. I am responsible for the financial upkeep and bookkeeping for SIBSA. As well, I help our president and vice president with their executive duties when necessary and assist with communication to our professors. So I hope that answers your question. All right, next question. Great question. What kind of events do we run throughout the year? So, in past terms or in past years, we had the ability to run events on campus or in person. And some of those included our beginning of term event, for example, where we head to the Ace Ping Pong Lounge, we eat wings, we play some ping pong. It's a really amazing night for the beginning of the term. You get to network with your sci besties. Great time. Additionally, we've had karaoke nights in the past. We've had dodgeball tournaments, and throughout the term, or throughout every term, around midterms, we have a breakfast and social, and that is oriented towards mental health and just raising awareness for de stressing and taking the time to hang out and not worry so much about your academics because that's something that people might get caught up in, and we want to ensure that we are helping our Sci Besties out as best as possible. So that's one event that you can definitely get involved in. In terms of virtually, we are working super hard to bring you that same level of academic and social life virtually. And our first event, our BOT or beginning of term event, will be a games night. Yay! So we're going to have a virtual games night. And if you follow us on our social media, you can definitely learn more. All right, so how does the application process work? This is something that will differ when you are a first year or if you are an exec. But in terms of the application process, you will need to fill out a online application. You will have to answer certain questions. Once those questions have been answered, you will be screened by our executive members. Once that process is complete, then we will move into an interview phase if necessary to get to learn a little bit more about you. And once that phase is over, then you will know if you've been recruited or not to join the team. All right, another question. Can you attend SIBSA events as someone not in SIBSA? Yes, 100%. You are more than welcome. All students in the Faculty of Science are welcome to attend our events. And if you are not in SciBiz, then there will be, for example, a note put out if the event is exclusive to SIBSA. But again, we are welcoming all science students to attend our events, especially with the virtual ones coming up. In terms of sign-ups for events, the logistics of virtual events are yet to be discussed and finalized, but if you would like more information, for example, our beginning of term event, please once again follow our social media. And once again, it's in the chat box. So if you go to the chat, there's a little link there with more information about SIBSA. You can find our Instagram, our Facebook, and our email. So you can always reach out to us or stay tuned for updates on our event. Where can you find the application forms? That's another great question. So all application forms to join us as a year representative or as an exec will be posted to our social media pages. So if you follow us on Instagram, for example, you will be able to see posts and stories about our application process and dates, deadlines, etc. And then you can also find the application forms there. All right, let's just wait for a few more questions. All right, what is my favorite memory as a member of SIBSA? So, my favorite memory actually came when I was a first year student. During my 1A term, the SIBSA representatives actually came to my SciBiz class and they gave us a little presentation about, what is SIBSA? How can you get involved? Just like I'm doing for you right now. And that's when I actually got to meet some of the exec team members at the time. And it was an amazing networking experience for me. I got to learn a lot about the extracurricular lifestyle at UW. And as someone who is always looking for ways to get involved in my community, I realized that the essence of the community, their goals, their visions really stood out to me. And as someone who is all about community, driving spaces for growth, that's exactly what SIBSA is about. We want to help you, as our side besties, grow and enhance your experience at the University of Waterloo. So that was definitely a great memory for me, just meeting the existing members of SIBSTA, getting to know them, networking, and finally taking on a role as a first year representative. I've grown a lot since then, now taking on the role as Vice President Finance. You can see how throughout time you're able to grow and mature into your role. So it's a great opportunity, a great community to be a part of. Awesome. So, what are other ways to get involved on campus? I could not tell you all the ways because there are hundreds of them. There are so many different clubs, for example, in the Faculty of Science, depending on what program you're in, or general clubs that don't matter what program you're in. There are also different initiatives that you can take on, for example, student leadership positions or peer mentorship, for example. And if you would like more information on what types of initiatives or opportunities exist for you as a first year student, I will definitely direct this question to our orientation team where they can provide you with a little more information on that. Alrighty, we'll just wait and see if we have any other questions. All right, so when will applications be sent out? So for those of you who are interested in joining our team as a first year representative, applications will be sent out within the first few weeks of September. So definitely look out for those as your classes begin, as you begin to follow us on our social media. We will be posting updates about specific dates when applications go out, as well as deadlines for applications. So definitely stay tuned. Alrighty. As well, if you have any questions that were not answered or that you couldn't think of to bring up today at the Science Showcase, please feel free to reach out to us once again on our social media. As you can see, the social media is a bit of a trend here. That's where you will find all resources that we provide, for example, all information about our events, get to know our team. So once again, social media is the best place to reach out to us, especially as we go virtual for the fall 2020 term. So definitely reach out to us on social media if you have any questions that you didn't bring up today, or if you'd like to learn more.
Okay, so since there aren't really questions coming in, um, I'd like to thank everyone for coming to this rotation and getting to learn a little bit about Science and Business Student Association. So thank you, first years, for attending and asking all your questions. Hopefully you got all the information you were looking for. So thank you very much for attending. And feel free to jump into the next rotation for one of the other clubs on campus. So thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.